Namaste. Welcome. Today we're going to practice a beginner yoga class. My name is Marissa Segundo, and I am an instructor at Yoga Etc. Studios in St. Petersburg, Florida. So find a space in your home where you can unroll your mat and find a little closed doors, find a little quiet if you can, but also work within this space that you have. So being undistracted by potential distractions and try to stay as focused as you can on your practice today. So through this practice, this is gonna be a floor practice. So we're gonna stay on our mat and work on our lower body and our abs. So find a space that you can be comfortable. If you want to sit on a folded blanket or elevate your hips a bit. Find a comfortable seated position such that your spine can be long, elevating to the sky and grounding down to the earth. And begin each yoga practice with the first Yoga Sutra, Atha Yoga Anushasanam, which in Sanskrit means now we begin yoga. Join in if you'd like. Atha Yoga Anushasanam. And please join me in the sound and vibration of Om. Inhaling to prepare. Just allow that Om to reverberate throughout your body. And just take a moment with your hands at heart center to create an intention for your practice, for your life, or for this moment. Hold that intention in your heart and then clear it from your mind as you either leave your hands at heart center or draw them along your sides, connecting thumb and forefinger. And just take this time to slow down, to allow your wandering mind to settle. Watch your breath, noticing how it comes in and out naturally without changing it. Allow your facial features to relax, eyes to close gently or to remain focused on one single point or a drishti. Allow your facial features to soften. Invite your top jaw to separate from your bottom jaw and your tongue to hang loose in your mouth. Continuing to have a nice long spine. And if you haven't begun to do so naturally, begin in yogic breath. Breathing in through the nose, allowing that air to travel deep into your belly, expanding your belly with air. As you exhale, collapsing your belly, allowing that air to travel up and out your nostrils. You may even want to make your breath audible, Ujjayi breath. More in the back of the throat, but still breathing in and out through the nostrils. Helps to relieve tension, to bring focus to this moment, to be 100% mindful of the rhythm of your breath in this present moment. And just connect with your yogic breath, breathing in fully and mindfully. Staying present. Inviting waves of relaxation to start at the very tip of your spine and gently travel down to the base of your spine. Continuing your yogic breath. This is a good time to set the rhythm of your breath that will take you throughout your yoga practice. And this is a space, this is a sanctuary where you can come at any time during any day to be present with your breath, even if it's just for a couple of moments. But for this time, we're going to be focused fully on our breath, staying present, feeling the temperature changes in our breath, the rhythm of our breath, how our body reacts to our breath. And just bearing all that in mind as you just let the world go. And on your next inhale, rolling the shoulders back and down, lengthening the spine, finding a nice long spine. As you exhale, allow your chin to travel down toward your chest as the crown of the head falls forward. Roll the shoulders still roll back and down, maybe even pressing down a little bit with your shoulders, just with your own strength, not trying to force anything. While your head is still hanging forward, bring your gaze all the way over to the right-hand side, as far as it'll go. Just hanging forward, feeling what the back of your neck feels like when your chin is more towards the right-hand side. Exhale, allowing the chin to come back towards the lower center, so you're still hanging forward. And then just pointing your chin towards the left-hand side. There's always the tendency when you have neck irritation to just like move your neck and rock it back and forth, but just pausing and being in one place and breathing into that space really makes a big difference. It's very telling to what your body needs in that moment. And then when you're ready, you can bring your neck still pointing downward before you inhale it up towards the center and exhale it all the way up towards the sky, chin towards the sky. And if you want to expand the front of the neck, you can place the bottom up over the top lip. On your next inhale, gently drawing the chin back to center. Placing the hands at heart center. Inhaling the clasped hands above the head. Nice long spine. Relaxing the shoulders down. Letting go with our right hand, allowing that to connect to the earth. Left hand reaches tall up. And let's get into the side body. So we're just tipping down on the right hand side. Think about what's going on with your left hip. See if you can ground that left hip a little bit farther and see how much longer you feel on the left hand side body. Tiny little movements. Notice what's happening with your chin. You need to look down at your bottom hands or up at the top ones. You don't want to find that weird space where you're feeling like you're craning your neck. And while we're here on the side body, let's create a little bit of movement. So we'll take our top left hand, cross it across the body, nice long circle. At some point, you'll have to change where your palm is. So we circled one way, let's circle the opposite way. Nice big circles that get into the shoulders and the upper back, and then we'll pause once we've done a circle in each direction. Inhale, reaching up towards the sky, find a little back bend. Exhale, down with the left hand, reaching tall with the right. And do the same thing on the opposite side. So we're tipping down on the left-hand side, grounding into the earth with the right hip and right sits bones. Think about turning your heart towards the sky so you really get that length through the side body. Inhale, reaching up. Oh, I forgot to do my circles. Don't forget to do your circles. So upper arm is up. We'll cross it, cross the body, all the way behind you. Nice long stretch before we circle the opposite way. Creating a little bit of motion, maybe even a tiny bit of heat. Inhaling both fingertips up towards the sky, a little back bend. Exhale, hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. We'll place our hands, we'll leave our hands at heart center before we elevate them up, clasped hands. Exhale, circle them around. We're gonna pause at shoulder height. So our shoulder blades come together, heart is open. Bending the elbows for cactus arms. This is a very simple thing you can do. If you want to elevate the elbows up a little higher, then you're going to get a little bit more engagement in the upper body, which is good. Exhale, we'll draw the elbows together in front of us and round the spine a little bit. So we're just placing the forearms together, opposite fingers connect. You can even connect all of your fingers, interlock all of your fingers except for your pointer finger if you like. Thumb can be pointed at the third eye. If you'd rather do eagle arms, you can do that here too. So we place, just remember which arm is on top. I'm doing my left on top. So the back of the arms connect, then the palms connect. Still having the thumb touching the third eye. So decide what you want. This is still early in our yoga practice, but if you need a little bit more length and opening in the upper back, this is a good one. If you need a little bit more, you can just bow forward. And this should feel really good all the way through your back. It may be a little bit early to do that. So listen to your body and what your body is telling you to do. Inhale up, unwind our hands. Open that all the way up and find those cactus arms again. So elevate up the elbows so you have this as an engaging posture. A lot of times you end up with cactus arms that really look like a cactus. I guess they're down here, but I feel like that would be how a cactus is. But with your arms up, you tend to get a little bit more engagement in the upper back. So then we'll do the same thing, draw the elbows together. And you can just have your forearms touch if that feels right to you. If you need to elevate or change and draw your elbows up a little higher to give yourself a little bit more space, you can do that. Just decide what works for you. Once again, if you're doing eagle arms, this time you cross I think we had left on top last time, so right's on top this time. Back of the hands touch, then the palms touch. Nice long spine. This should feel good on your upper back. So if you feel like you're just trying to stress to get this arm position, then just let it go and give yourself a hug. Or go back to the forearms touching. You don't have to force it. You don't win any prizes. Also, if just your forearms are touching and you want to bend forward, you still get benefits from that. Try to draw your elbows together. Inhale up and separate the arms as we exhale, drawing the shoulder blades together. Find your smile, fingers spread wide apart and active. Connecting with your breath. Your arms probably feel maybe a little heavy, and that's okay. Got a little bit of an arm engagement. We'll draw our hands back to heart center. All right, so we'll start on our mat, lengthening out. I'm going to start on the left-hand side. So we're going to lengthen out with the left leg for Janusirasana. Our right, in the inside of the right, the foot, so the bottom of the foot is on the inside of the left inner thigh. We'll turn our belly button so it points at the left pinky toe. Nice long spine to start. We'll just very slowly walk our hands forward. We may not go very very far in order to just to get that long spine. And now you want to round your spine. So this is where we'll round our spine and start to aim towards our toes. Doesn't matter if you can touch your toes. We all have toes and we know where they are. So if you can, great. If you can't, just find a space on your leg or your mat where you can touch. And constantly try to turn that belly button towards your pinky toe, even with the rounded spine. And if you'd like to still get some side body engagement, you can take the right arm and elevate it up over your head. So you have a nice half moon, or crescent moon rather, shape. That should feel good. Once again, if you feel like you're craning your neck, you can look up or down. But you're feeling the length all through the side body. So then we'll take our right hand, swoop it all the way behind us. Fingers are going to be spread wide apart and active. And we'll place it right by our right hip. Left hand, palm of the left hand will point up towards the sky. And we'll elevate up. If you have, before we do this, before you elevate, if you have any knee issues and you need a little bit of extra padding on your right knee, go ahead and do that now. And then just for position, we'll place our right hand behind us, left palm up towards the sky. When we elevate up with our left hip, we'll take our left foot and allow it to connect with the earth. So it'll pivot around and connect with the earth. Reaching up tall for gate lock pose. This should feel good all the way through the left pinky finger down through the left pinky toe. And if you want a little bit of motion, you can make those big circles as long as you circle in both directions. And then when you've circled in both directions, we'll bring the hip down to touch the earth, reaching up towards the sky. Let's reach both arms up towards the sky, lengthen both legs out in front of us, and we find ourselves in Dandasana. But we're going to bow forward and aim for our toes wherever your hands can reach. Doesn't matter if you touch your toes. While your head is hanging forward, you can shake it from side to side or up and down. Just kind of surrender to your rounded spine at this moment. This should feel good. All right. And then when you're ready, on the right hand side, we will bring the sole of the left foot in towards the inside of the right thigh. Remember before when we kind of went off our mat a little bit, so you may need to adjust where your left knee is. I'll see if you can avoid having your right foot come, or the right heel come off the mat. That will be helpful as well. So Janu Siddhasana, we're finding our belly button, we're pointing it towards that right pinky toe. Same thing with the left knee. It should be able to just relax on the mat. And if it doesn't, you can use that little bit of padding for your knee so you're not trying to stress to hold your knee down. Nice long spine. Fingertips connect with the earth and kind of turn, just a little bit of a incognito turn so your belly button can face your pinky toe. Then we'll start to very slowly just walk our hands forward ever so slightly so you can maintain the nice long spine. Walking our hands even more. My spine is starting to round, and that's a good thing. It should feel good. You can grab your toe, great. If you can't, no big deal. Just grab wherever feels good. If you want to shake your head, you can do that. Same thing on the opposite side. If you want to elevate up with the left hand, making a crescent moon shape over the body, you can do that here. And if you like that motion, you can do that little circular motion. And then when you're ready, we're going to take the left arm, hand, draw it behind our body, fingers spread wide apart and active. Right hand, palm of the right hand points up towards the sky. We're going to elevate up with the right hip. Notice where your left knee is. Doesn't matter if your bum isn't on the mat. It does kind of matter if your left knee isn't on the mat because it's going to feel uncomfortable if you're on a hard surface, which you should be. So right palm up towards the sky. We'll reach it up, elevating with right hip. Reaching tall for gate lock pose. And doing a couple of circles with our upper arm if that feels good. And once you do both sides, just go ahead, connect with the earth. Coming back to center. Both arms reach up towards the sky. Both legs are long in front of us. Find yourself in kind of a modified Dandasana or staff pose and just bow forward. Head can hang forward, whatever feels good. And then we'll allow our soles of our feet to come together. Baddha Konasana. And maybe find some butterflies. Butterflies should feel good. Opening up the hips a little bit. Grounding down to the earth. All right, so from Baddha Konasana, just kind of allow your arms and maybe even almost the forearms to come closer towards the earth. If the earth feels really far away from you right now, you can put a bolster here or a pillow, something that feels good. And sometimes with wide hips, just simply waiting and staying present is the best way to do this. Turn to the side. Don't do what I'm doing right now. I'm just turning to the side for perspective. So you notice the longer that you hold this, the longer that your toes can meet one another, and you just slowly surrender to this posture, that you may be able to be closer to the Okay, so you're slowly connecting with the earth, and you may just notice by simply holding this posture that you're able to connect more deeply. Maybe you want to hang your head forward. And we're doing this without a lot of heat created, so this is almost like a yin posture because we're just holding it. And in yin, you usually hold a posture, usually supported. So you may want to, if you've got those pillows, to kind of support your knees a little bit if this is uncomfortable. If you want to deepen it, if you feel like you want to deepen it, you can also place your elbows on the insides of your knees. So just decide what works for you. Connect with your breath. If you're a very fidgety person, this may be a little difficult. And that's okay, because that's what yoga is about. Overcoming our natural tendencies to fidget and allow the brain to just let it go. So notice if you were able to find a little bit of extra space, and if you weren't, that's okay too. But exercise, things like this, holding postures like this, will help you to increase your flexibility very slowly. You can also do this in the morning when you wake up or at night before you go to bed when you're not necessarily as warm, but you do have the ability to just hold a posture. So very slowly, we'll start to walk our hands in towards the body, rolling our shoulders back and down. And one by one, once again, my bum is not on the mat, and that's okay because I want to make sure that my legs are on my ankles and my feet are on the mat. So one by one, I'm going to elevate out with the left foot to start. And the right foot can still be tucked, just like we had in Janusirsasana. So we'll find a nice long spine and just hold this with the left foot. We'll flex the left foot so it's engaged. You may even want to think about turning your left pinky toe kind of towards the outside. You'll feel an engagement in that more in the hamstrings, and that should feel good. If you like that side body stretch, you could reach again towards your toes and up over the head. Kind of going around the world with our side body stretch. And then reaching up. Nice long spine. And we'll do the same thing on the opposite side. Now we're doing this 1 foot at a time. So we're going to bring in the sole of the left foot and lengthen long with the right foot. Now that's up to the side, engaging with the right thigh. The right pinky toe kind of tips to the outside as the foot remains flexed and engaged. Sometimes just slowing down and taking the time to really focus on your muscles, one at a time, and really be focused, breathing into them, and just letting go is a yoga practice in and of itself. So if you reached over your head on the opposite side, make sure to do that on this side. Nice long spine. It's not, well, I mean, it's long, but you're really feeling this in the side body. And then we'll reach all the way up over your head. And this time we're gonna open up with the left leg, both legs go out to the side. So we'll flex our feet and engage. Engage by, remember how we were pointing our pinky toe towards the outside? We'll do that here. So we'll just stay tall. We're not going to try to come closer to the earth. Let's just try this with a nice long spine. You'll feel a little bit of warmth in your legs as you're starting to engage very passively. And that's really what yin does, is you're using cold energy and just surrendering to certain postures. Using things like bolsters and straps and things that can assist in your yoga practice and building your flexibility and also supporting your body safely. So if it feels good to kind of come a little bit farther onto the earth, you can do that if that's what's calling to you. Once again, it's still early in our practice, and we're basically have not very warm muscles at this point. So just take your time, figure out what works for you. Maybe you want to grab your legs and just surrender to this. Maybe you're coming down onto your forearms if that feels right, or maybe you're just staying tall. That's okay too. Just engaging in the lower body. And we'll walk our hands in towards the body. Nice long spine. And then one by one, bringing the right foot in. And then very slowly bringing the left foot in. Why are we doing this slowly? We've just kind of had a a position that our body hasn't been in throughout the day, unless your job calls for such, I don't know. But it's, you want to, when you do wide-legged stretches, especially if you're doing this on a cold or not very warm muscles, you'll want to take care of your body and do these transitions slowly. So we'll bring our knees into our chest and give them a hug, and maybe even just rock forward and back. Ooh, I fell back, but I meant to, if you kind of do these little rocks back and forth, use your abs and the control of your abs to try to stay up. If you round your spine, you'll do what I did, which is roll all the way back. Just try to stay tall with your abs. We're essentially kind of we're not, I mean, it's a little bit like a boat pose, but we're not quite as boaty because we're holding our legs. So then we'll roll our shoulders back and down. We will find the boat pose. We'll lengthen our arms. And remember, you can have an assisted boat pose here with your knees aligned with your hips aligned with the shoulders, nice long spine, open heart, neck relaxed. And your feet don't have to leave the ground. You can stay right here. Or if you want to find a little bit of extra space, you can bring your tippy toes up. Nice long spine. Once again, as soon as you round it, you're going to be rolling on the ground. And then we'll bring the legs up. Half boat pose, Ardha Navasana. Or you can find full boat pose. Nice long spine. And you can row your boat. If you want to create a little bit of that heat, probably won't take much. Maybe you want to go from Ardha Navasana and then we'll lengthen out. So we're bringing half boat in and then we'll lengthen the whole body, but don't go all the way down. Half boat in, lengthening the whole body. Half boat in. Let's hold our half boat for a moment. This time we're going to try to go down slowly, just taking our time, engaging the core. Eventually you plop on your singing bowl. So, readjust where you need to be. And from here, we're going to place our heels in line with our hips. Actually, let's heel toe our feet. So the outside of our feet is aligned with the outside of the mat. Shoulders roll down, back and down, so our heart is open and our upper back can be connected with the earth. Bringing the arms out to the side so they're at a T. Take a moment to connect with your breath. We're just going to do some basic windshield wipers. These windshield wipers should feel really good. So as our knees fall to the left, our gaze will look towards the right. Center, and our gaze goes to the center, exhaling. And our gaze is opposite our knees. All right. So we'll draw our knees into our heart. We'll give them a hug. Rock side to side. Or in a circle to massage the lower back. And at this point, if you've got a block, a foam block or something stable that's similar, not an actual piece of wood, you can place that block right underneath your sits bones here as you elevate your hips, or you can just use the earth. And we'll elevate our feet up towards the sky. And our feet will elevate to the sky, and we'll first just draw a circle with our feet on the sky. And that should feel good. And reverse directions. And then when you feel even on both sides, just pause with our feet long in the air. Flexing the feet, maybe doing some ankle circles. That feels good. And if you circle in one direction, you have to go to the other. All right, we'll bring the soles of our feet to the earth. And we'll rock. Do some pelvic tilts and just rock our pelvis. And at the same time, we're going to be massaging the lower back, so that should feel good. If you have any injuries to your tailbone, this may not feel so good, so you may want some support. So we'll come down where our forearms are on the mat. We'll kind of elevate ourselves up just enough so we come onto our elbows. So the elbows are just underneath the shoulders. Fingers are spread wide apart and active, and they should be kind of in line with our elbow, or in line with our shoulders for the same, so our hands aren't up to the side as much. They're just a straight line from our shoulders. And we'll elevate our feet up to the sky again. Notice what's going on with your neck. If this is too much on your neck, you feel like you're craning or stressing out your neck, you can lower yourself down to do this. So that would just look like this, just like we were. But if you want to be up on your elbows, we're going to take our flexed feet and we're just going to very slowly lower them onto the mat. Using our core, if you like to use your core, this is a good thing to do. Connecting with your breath. Maybe you don't like straight legs. Maybe you want to bring the soles of your feet together in kind of a frog pose, and maybe you lower your frog pose down to kind of a Supta Baddha Konasana. You can do that too. Just decide what works for you. See if you can kind of just hold your legs long out in front of you, just barely off the mat. And then we'll draw our knees back into our chest and give them a hug. Then we will lengthen out. Let's lengthen out the right leg. Bring the left leg in towards the body. So while we're bringing the left leg in towards the body, we'll have it kind of go out to the left-hand side of the body. Your left elbow will be on the earth, kind of holding the left leg up and out to the side. The right foot is flexed and engaged. So we're just very slowly, just like we were doing with our long legs and our Baddha Konasana, we're just opening up the lower body. This is good if you've got back issues, because a lot of times our lower back issues really have more to do with your hips not being open than your actual lower back. So just once again, like we were doing before, just holding this posture. And then we'll take our left leg and we'll cross it over our body completely. So we're going to lift up with the left hip and maybe even jump the right hip back a little bit so we get a little bit of a twist. So decide what works for you for your twist. And if you need to untwist a little bit and then retwist again, that's okay. Really want the shoulder blades to connect with the earth. And then whatever else you do to connect with your twist, that's okay. Your gaze will be the opposite way of your knee. Connecting with your breath. And staying present in this moment. Unravel your foot if it's raveled. We'll very slowly draw our knees back to center. Maybe you want to do that little lower back massage, little circles, whatever works. Then we'll do the same thing on the opposite side. Now we are lengthening with the left foot, left leg rather. Right leg comes in towards the chest, and we use our right elbow to support that. Both feet are flexed and engaged. And just simply waiting. A lot of our practice today has been simply waiting. And that's the benefit of working with the prana, the breath, the life force energy. We're concentrating on the rhythm of our breath that we created at the beginning of practice and hopefully have continued throughout our practice. And then when you're ready, we'll draw the left or the right leg in towards the chest before we cross it over to the left-hand side. Remember, if you want to adjust hips and upper back so you can twist towards the opposite side, you can do that. So now our gaze will be towards the opposite side. And just connect with your breath. Stay present in this moment. Drawing your energies down. And then when you're ready, very slowly, we'll draw both knees in towards our chest. And give you that lower back massage. It should feel good. The next posture I don't always do in beginner yoga class, just because for some people, if you don't pay attention to what's going on in your body, you could risk injury. So I would suggest if you have a block or a couple blocks or folded blankets, you may want to use this, or you may want to opt out of this. We're going to do a bridge pose, and we're going to align our ankles with our hips. Hips are aligned with the shoulders, nice long energy. And remember, when we're doing those pelvic tilts, we're going to start with those pelvic tilts. First, pointing the pelvis towards the body, then away, or towards the chin, I guess, and then away. And as you're doing this, you're giving yourself a lower back massage, which should feel really good at this point. Now, a basic bridge doesn't have to be much. We can simply kind of roll our shoulders under a little bit and elevate our, elevate our sits bones, pressing into the feet. You don't have to hold it long, maybe a couple breaths, and then come down. So decide what works for you. If you're experienced with bridge and you want to take this to another level, you can roll the shoulders underneath and very slowly work yourself to a little bit more of a full bridge. I'm going to caution to make sure that your knees aren't splaying out to the side, because that can create injury. Also notice what's happening with your neck and make sure that you are giving yourself proper elevation through your neck so you don't kind of feel trapped, I guess. All right, so from our bridge pose, we'll lengthen our legs long. And if there's anything else that you want to do to finish out your yoga practice, maybe you want to find a twist that's a little bit deeper. Maybe you want to find happy baby pose where you grab You place your hands in between your knees, lengthen the arms, and bring the legs out to the side. You can also do frog pose where your feet come together. Or maybe you want to go back to having your legs over your head, maybe give your abs a little bit more of a engagement, whatever you feel like your body needs in this moment. And then we're all going to meet in Shavasana after a couple breaths and a couple of this posture. For Shavasana, if you want to elevate your knees, placing a bolster pose underneath your legs. Maybe you liked the Supta Baddha Konasana and you want to stay in Shavasana for this posture. You can do that. Decide where you want to be, but also honor the alignment between your shoulders and your hips and your ankles. Palms up towards the sky so we can just soak in all the energy that we've just created. I'm going to sit up, but you guys will remain down in your Shavasana. So we're allowing our spine to be long, connect with the earth, connecting with your breath, and staying present in this moment. Shavasana is also a good time to place your hand on your belly and feel your belly expand as you inhale and contract as you exhale. Continuing to honor your body in this time, in this space, by staying fully present in this moment. Undistracted by outside influences and just be fully mindful of your breath. We talk about yoga is the cessation of thought waves. So we can be fully present with our body and mind and just letting everything else go. Connecting with your breath. Listening to the sound of your breath. Taking a mental scan of your body and without judgment, just noticing what's changed and what maybe needs a little bit more love. Just decide that without judgment and continue to remain present. Slowly allow your body to come back to full awareness. Wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, touching your thumb to each finger, one at a time, connecting with the energies of earth, air, fire, and water. Sa, ta, na, na. Stretching your arms long above your head, your legs long in front of you. Stretching your energies from fingertips to tips of toes. come into your chest and give them a hug, rocking side to side or in a circle, massaging your lower back. And then when you're ready, allow your knees to fall over to the right-hand side and rest there for a moment in the fetal position. Our final resting posture is called Shavasana, or corpse pose, where we allow any unwanted thoughts, feelings, or energies to die in this posture. In this fetal position, we are reborn, ready to lead a new life of mindfulness, awareness of our body, breath, and all of the beautiful energy around us. Whenever you're ready, bringing only the good and positive energy with you, slowly help yourself up to an easy seated position. With a nice long spine and hands at heart center, I invite you to join me as we seal this practice as we began with the sound and vibration of Om. Inhaling to prepare. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May your mind be open. May your words be mindful. May your heart be open and abundant with love. Namaste.